here we are coming together for the first time in 2 weeks. For this first time, no, the second time in 2 weeks. I was on last week, and I'm on again this week. And you see, that's good. That's good. That helps out because I haven't done two consecutive shows since like February. So I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm shuffling up the cards, and we're going to get going. I was just. All those helicopters outside the window were really annoying because of that construction accident. You may have seen it in the news down where you are. It was such a big accident that it hit the national news because it was potentially deadly. Nobody got killed, much to the disappointment of the news crews who were circling around with helicopters like it was the beginning of Apocalypse Now. And it was just a horrible way to get the day started, but I managed to get a little sleep. And here I am with you. And we're ready to go. We're ready to look at the tarot cards. We're ready to see what's going on behind the magical window. We look through the magical window, actually. It's behind the curtain, the veil, the magical veil. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's see. We have, I want to pull a card out, because a lot of bizarre stuff is happening in the country. I wanted to pull a card out to see what we could do that would show the aura around the nation. Okay, that's good. It's the 10 of Cups. That's happiness and joy. So things are going to be okay. See, now remember that, because like I told you about the news industry many times, their whole job is to depress you. Their whole job is to scare you and depress you. That's how they get viewers. That's what they do. They frighten you. And you can see all that at work constantly. But the card that I got here is a card of happiness and joy and a good solid home, which is saying don't let outsiders, meaning people who are paid to do this, hurt you. Don't let them do that, because they have a vested interest in it. I spent an awful lot of time among news people. I worked with them. I've worked for them. I've worked around them. I used to go to bars where they went. I know them. And let me tell you something. They're not your friends. I mean, seriously, they're not. They want to come on smiley and happy and all, but they're not the friends of the people, let's put it that way, because their whole job is to scare you. Now, remember, there was a time when people in the news business wanted to get stories and become famous reporters like Woodward and Bernstein. But now people are just interested in getting ahead in the news business, which means getting higher ratings than anybody else and getting the next big job. And that takes a lot of scheming and planning, and then the next thing you know, you're fired. Look at all the people being fired from certain cable networks. More than one cable network is just giving people the axe, because that's the way it goes. If they're not doing the job that they're meant to do, which is scare the bejabbers out of you, then forget it. Whenever I see people who are really in a state of anxiety and fear, and it's because of something that's going on in the world, I try to talk to them and say that this is not normal. For instance, take this crane that exploded and led to all these helicopters flying around all day in front of my window. That's not normal. But they were doing it in case something cataclysmic happened. I mean, cataclysmic beyond a 30-story crane, construction crane blowing up, and the arm falling off and smashing into a building next to it. That wasn't cataclysmic enough. So they had to wait around to see if it went nuclear. I don't know what the heck they wanted. But they're always looking for disaster. If it bleeds, it leads. That's the credo in TV news business. And that's all you need to know. If I said this I used to say this all the time to people, don't be too worried about things, because 6 months from now, you're going to be really upset about something you never even heard of yet. And that's how they work. They just keep people in a state of agony. I would hope that you could take a look at this book that I talk about constantly, and I'm always mailing out copies of it. It's called Unmasking Fear. Take a look at that at Amazon or take a look at that at mojoacademy.org. Unmasking Fear. Okay? This is a book that's old. And it was right on the money. It was actually It was written before the invention of mass media, 1919. Now, why is a book from 1919 relevant in 2023? I explained that in the introduction I wrote to the new volume of it. I wrote 2 introductions, actually. So, and explain why it's relevant today. But I'll give you a secret as to why it's relevant. Anybody who's a fan of history and a real student of history knows people do not change. Society doesn't change. We're always the same. We may have different machines, but we're the same. This is why, I knew a woman who was like maybe in her 70s, and she always greeted every new cataclysm with a wry smile. When she passed away, we found out that she was like 95. Yeah. And then I realized, of course, she's seen everything before. That's why she smiles that way. She was wonderful. I mean, she just, nobody realized how old she was until she died, and it was in her obituary. And she was well over 95. I think she was like 96 or 7. And that's, and so whenever people would come at her with, oh, this horrible thing is happening, blah, blah, she would just kind of smile and say, oh, that's terrible. That's really bad. But I'm sure, she saw it all. She'd been there, done that, is something real. And that's what you get with age. They say you get wisdom with age. I think you just get boredom with age. You can't surprise people anymore. They've seen it all. They've been there and done that. Well, speaking of been there and done that, what we're going to been there and do is going to go there and do some tarot readings tonight so that we can see what's going on in your life. I am going to ring a bell 3 times to declare sacred space. And we'll pull back the curtain on the magical window for Dee in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Hi, Dee. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Good, thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There was a slight lag there. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Gee, I can't remember the name of it now. There was a story that Damon... Yeah, but there was a story that Damon Runyon wrote, the guy who created Guys and Dolls, that takes place in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I think it might have been called The 3 Wise Guys. I really don't remember. But it was one of those kind of sappy maudlin things that only Damon Runyon could write, that could get a rock to cry, You want to read something, the Little Miss Marker has been made into a movie 2 times, but if you read that story and you're not crying by the end of it, ooh. Same for a story called Little Pinks. That was made into a movie with Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball. So every time I see Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I remember Damon Runyon. Wow. So what can I look at for you tonight?
Love, anything general, anything, whatever you think I should know. How about that?
Okay, let me just see. Have you had an unfortunate experience lately?
Yes.
Okay, because I've got a card here that's the 5 of Cups, and that is about partial loss. That means something happened and you lost something, but it's not as big a loss as, it's just, it hurts more than it was, if you know what I mean, which is not a problem.
It was a marriage separation.
Because what I've got here is this thing shows a person looking at 3 spilled cups, and behind her are 2 full cups. And what the card is saying is that yes, you lost some, but you didn't lose everything. That you still have some more. Right now, the person in the card is looking at the loss. The person is preoccupied with the loss. And we'll soon turn around. What's implied in the card is that you'll turn around and see that you didn't lose as much as you thought you did. But that's not to say, snap out of it. You'll get there when the time is right for you. Having been in that position myself, I know that it takes time. And I'm not one of those people who believes in saying, "Oh, cheer up," especially the kind of, well, it was a blessing in disguise, which really means you got shafted, Now, let me tell you this, because along with that card, I have the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. 5s are really severe in tarot. That's why I figured something bad had happened recently. The Five of Swords is about somebody who was not being very honest, was somebody was manipulative, was lying about you, was spreading rumors, all kinds of stuff. So is that what was going on? Someone you couldn't
That was my
trust?
husband.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's there. Now, let me tell you, I love this about the cards because the next card is the World, and that's the card of assured
Ah,
success. That's the card that means you're going to be fine. After that is the Six of
wonderful.
Rods, which is a card of triumph. After that is Temperance, which means balance will return to your life. So
Okay.
you'll be okay.
Good.
You really were treated badly. This is something that bothers a lot of people. Was it my fault? What did I do? And sometimes they just would like some confirmation about what happened. And according to this, you were very badly treated.
I
So
was.
if that's how you feel, the cards feel that way too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Well, it was.
you know, so how long ago did this happen? It's fairly recently, right?
This was recent. Yeah, this was March,
Oh, yeah.
the end of March.
Yeah, that's pretty recent, and it's stressful and it's painful, and but the main thing is these cards show that you're gonna come out of this fine, and your balance will be restored in your life. And in
Wonderful.
fact, there's an indication here. Look, here's the Sun, which is a card of health and growth and happiness and joy. Now, after that is the Knight of Cups, and cups are emotions generally relating to love, and that means that romance will be coming into your life again.
Wonderful.
Okay, so just
Great.
as much time as you need, because there's no way of saying snap out of it, get over it. You'll deal with it when you can. The beauty of that card, the Five of Cups, is that right now the person is focused on the sad part, but will eventually turn around and see all the good stuff that's left over in her life. So you'll
Great.
get there bit by bit, and these cards show a very happy. I don't want to say ending because that's. This is why I never say to people, "Did you hear my?" I always say, "Did you hear my most recent show?" I never say, "Did you hear my last show?" Because then I get the feeling that I'm gonna die. It's my last show.
Right.
But I'm seeing a wonderful outcome. I have to get used to saying not ending but outcome. But yes. But right now, there's still pain because I see the Three of Swords, which is a heart pierced by swords. But that's
Right.
followed by the Judgment card, which is about rebirth and regrowth, and you're going to get everything you deserve. The main thing is the outcome is good, and there's verification that you were treated very badly.
Right.
Because
True.
I know there comes a point when people start saying, "What did I do wrong?"
Hmm.
Except unless you're one of those people who's never at fault. Boy, those are great people to be
Oh,
around.
no, 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 no.
you
You
know,
find yourself evaluating. Yeah, you find yourself looking back and saying, "What did I do? Could I have done something better?"
yeah, I know. I mean, I knew. Sometimes going into it. I used to joke about a marriage that I was in very, very, very briefly. That when the minister said, "Do you promise to love this person till forsaking all others until death do you part?" That I looked at him and said, "Could you repeat that last piece again?" But I mean, I've known people who never should have gotten married, who got married, and of course it didn't work out. I mean, I'm talking about
Oh,
people
me too.
who were not speaking to each other on their when they were married. They thought that
Oh
maybe the
boy.
marriage would help them grow together, which of course it didn't. But
Hmm.
the main thing is here's that. Whoa, see, look, once again I got the Five of Swords, which is a person who is distrustful, dishonest, all the whole nine yards. But next to that,
Yep.
I got the card of the Devil. Now, the interesting thing about the Devil card is the Devil can be a very attractive person. The Devil can be a very compelling person, and you can get things around a person like that. But they use you and discard you, and they treat you terribly. And this is the
Right.
Devil card is a big warning. So it's the old line: you're better off.
That's interesting that came up because he called me tonight and wants to get back together, and that's ridiculous. So, you hit it on the head. You nailed it. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's the kind of thing. I mean, I do see like here's the Lover's card. Now the Lover's card is fascinating in that with it movies have led people to believe that the Lover card means that there's a romance coming. The Lover's card actually means that you're going to be facing a choice between generally the sacred and the profane. But you are facing a choice, and you'll make that choice. That and you'll do well with it. The Empress is a card here that represents you. The Empress is a person who can make things happen, make things grow, who is very imaginative and creative, and the implication is fertility, but not necessarily in a reproductive kind of way. It's here's the Ace of Cups too. That reinforces good times are coming back to you. So this is really relative. This is relatively new. So hang in there, and see what happens. But all the cards are good for you. All of them are excellent for you. Okay.
Thank you
pleasure.
so very much.
I will light a candle for you, a white candle, to send positive energy your way. Now let's shuffle up the cards. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, the sporadic show that is finally on 2 weeks in a row. And I'm looking forward to more. I have no intention of skipping shows because if only the thing I couldn't do when I was very sick was I couldn't talk. It took my voice away. And I get such an energy boost doing this show that I think that if I could have done the show, as sick as I was, if I could talk, that I would have healed a lot faster, because there's positive energy there, and I'm a big exponent of positive energy. And I was denied that because of that's what I sounded like. I sounded terrible. I'm still a bit hoarse. Anyway, Jeanette in Hampton, Virginia is next. Jeanette.
Oh,
Hi, sorry to mispronounce your name. Jeanette.
no worries.
Hi, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. Just had 2 quick questions for you. Maybe you can help me out with.
Sure, we can take time too. You don't have to be quick.
Okay, so I've been trying to manifest like a best friend husband.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to do a different manifestation techniques, going out a lot more. Just curious what you see in the future for that.
Okay, now remember, there's a practical aspect to this too. Are you going out among people and meeting people and doing things like that?
Yes, I have been going out at least a few days a week recently.
Okay, because there's an old joke about a guy who wants to win the lottery, and he prays fervently prays to win the lottery, and nothing happens. He finally gets disgusted, and he curses out God for not answering his prayer, and a cloud appears, and a voice comes out and says, "Why don't you buy a ticket?" So this to say that, magical stuff is good, and manifestation is truly good. I spoke about this last week, is that in the 1970s, I did a study. I actually contacted many very successful people in their field. Some were even in buildings. But, wait a minute, I can't do a gag like that. Yeah. The one I wanted to talk to them about success, and the one thing they all had in common was that for years before they had attained their success, they saw themselves in that position. They could picture themselves in that position. So when The Secret came along, what was that, in the 90s or so, I was prepared. I knew that was what was going on, because and it makes sense. You're not going to get something if you don't visualize it, because then how are you going to know you got it, right? It's
Right.
I knew a person one time. I don't want to get into anything that would describe this person, but he or she, shall we say, had more breaks, had more things happen than anyone I ever knew. Had jobs that some people would kill for, and just kept walking away from them. Didn't think that it was the right thing. It was flabbergasting to me that this person had so many career options, and just spit on all of them with disdain. And then years later, as an older person, wondered why nothing ever happened in life. So, the thing is to visualize it and to know it when it's there, and then to go out and see about getting it. So let's see what the cards show for you. How's that? About romance, right?
Sounds good. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, the first card I've got is the Star. That's a card of hope and optimism. So that's good. That's very good. The next card I have is the Ten of Cups. That means that's a happy home. That's a very, very, very good sign here because it involves family and living with someone and as a family unit. The Six of Swords is here. That's very good. The Six of Swords is about a person who gets from where she wants to be, gets from where she is to where she wants to be through her own efforts. So, yeah, that's there too. Now, here we go. The Two of Cups tells me that there's romance coming your way. The Two of Cups is a very good card for that. It means it's happening soon. Now, here's one of my favorite cards when this question arises. Notice that you're getting cups here. I've got 5 cards here. 3 of them are cups. So you asked about affairs of the heart, and this is what the cards are giving you. They're giving you cups. The Four of Cups is a person that tells me that there's somebody around you now who is interested in you, but hasn't shown it yet. So keep an eye out. See if there's somebody that you can spot around you. Because it shows a person looking at 3 cups who doesn't see that there's another hand coming out of a cloud offering another cup. So that generally means something that's there that you don't see yet. So, but it's not your fault. I don't think this person wants you to see it yet. But you may, if you're aware that that's happening, you may notice it. The 3 of Cups tells me, see again, cups. Boy, this is great. That the chances are pretty good that you're going to meet somebody through people you know.
Okay.
But these are all positive cards. These are all cards that have a good outcome and a good outlook. So I think you're on the right track for finding romance. Is there anything else you want to look at now? What else was there?
Yeah, just wanted to see if there was any messages my spirit guides had for me, just in any subject.
Messages. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay. Boy, these look like this is definite. These 2 cards are definite. They go together. The Queen of Swords and Strength. The message of these is take command of your thoughts and be strong about it. Okay. The Queen of Swords represent mental. Sometimes it represents conflict, but you'd have to see that by the other cards around you. The Queen of Swords is somebody who's developing new ways of thinking, and it's starting to show. Your mind is expanding and it's growing. And Strength card shows that you need to be. I got another card here that you're going to love. Boy, I'm telling you, this is a message because I got 4 cards here, and they're all major cards. There's only like 22 major cards in the deck here. So the Strength card shows that you've got the strength to do this. Now, the Death card is here, and that's nothing to be afraid of. That means you're entering a new period of your life. One phase of your life is ending, and another one is beginning. And we say that because there's a sunrise in that card. So it's not about predicting death, which cards don't generally do. If they do it, it's very clear. One of the reasons the cards don't do that is that that's what lies down the path for all of us anyway. But this is followed now by Judgment, which is telling me, the Death and Judgment card telling me that you're going to experience a rebirth of who you are. And it's going to be very good. And you're looking for a new way of living, and you're going to get it because you're strong and your mind is growing. So one phase of your life is ending and another one is beginning, and that new beginning is going to be a game changer. Okay, so this is very good. This is very exciting times then for you. You're growing and you're changing. You're growing emotionally and physically and spiritually, all of that. It's all there. Okay, so
yeah.
It takes strength to go through that, but the message is be strong. That's what the Strength card is. That I definitely, since all of these cards were major cards, I definitely take that as a message from a guide. Okay?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, my pleasure, because that's a wonderful, life-changing reading. And hang on one second. I want to pull one more card to just see the overall. Okay, here it is. That's great. The 8 rather of cups. The 8 of cups is about a person who is walking away from things in life that aren't working and walking towards things that are working. So you're changing. You're changing for the better, and that's good. You're going to love it. Okay.
Yes, I have been on vacation for a month now, and I've been doing so much healing and so much growth spiritually and physically. I mean, I've been losing weight, and it's just the reading is totally accurate.
Great. You feel it, don't you? It's growing
Yes.
inside you. That you're blossoming in a new way. Some people get scared to death of that, but I see you're not just welcoming it, you're asking for it, and you're managing it, and it's good, and I applaud you. So if you can drop me a line anytime, and we can take a look at a few more cards if you'd like. My email is asktarot@earthlink.net, and you can also find me through askoneradio.com, or just do a Google search for Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, and you can contact me. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, the street card. I'm a Leo, so I'm not surprised that came out.
Yeah, okay, it looks good. Thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we'll shuffle the cards up again. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, the show that asks the metaphysical question, is this guy going to show up next week? And yes. Yes, I will. I make it my business to show up next week. Like I said, I was in a rotten mood today because helicopters woke me up and didn't let me get any sleep. But we transcend that. You see, if only I had had my voice while I was sick, I could have gotten so much positive energy. Elaine, right here in New York City is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi.
Hi, how are you tonight, Elaine?
I'm all right.
Well, let's see if we can make that a little better. Okay? What can I look at for you?
Basically just thinking about my romantic life and I guess health.
Okay, well, the romantic life, I can give you a quick answer to that because this is a card I just had for somebody else too, but there's a little bit more to it now. It's the Two of Cups, and that generally indicates a new relationship coming your way. If you're in a relationship, it can also indicate the relationship reaching a new level, but something new is coming. It's going to be very fulfilling because you have the Nine of Cups, which is a card of a person enjoying the sensual things in life, just deep, deep pleasures on all levels. And then the Ace of Cups is here, which is the beginning of romance. So these cards all indicate something good is coming your way. And soon. Okay. And your health, you said?
Yeah, I guess long-term health, if I'm doing the right things and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll take a look. Of course, if you have any concerns, see a health professional. I'm
right.
duty bound to say that. I'm up to my earlobes in doctors, but let's see. The funny thing is, I haven't been able to get near a doctor since I was sick. It's funny. Nowadays, they don't want you to come to the office if you're not well. That's beautiful, right?
Exactly. It's like you kind of monitor yourself.
That's kind of crazy, though. That's when you need them. Let's see. What have I got here? Well, I've got all kinds of happy cards here. I don't see any speed bumps in your future here. I've got the Ten of Cups, which is perfected happiness here. I've got the Magician, which is a person who can draw spiritual power down to earth and use it here. I've got the Six of Rods, which is great success. I've got Temperance, which says that you're living a life that's well balanced. No, nothing wrong here at all that I see. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
I
just wanted to make sure I was going down. I've been doing a lot of changes in my life, so for the better, in terms of health, eating right and stuff like that.
Well, according
Nothing
to this, you're handling it well, according to this. So let's see if I can get anything else on that. Let's see, now here's the Knight of Cups again, and that's again about a new relationship. Ace of Rods is here. Are you starting a new work procedure, a new job, new career, work procedure? What the heck does that mean? It usually indicates a new job, new career. The rods are about work and career, and the aces are something new. So if you're thinking of doing something new, there's some opportunities which will be coming your way.
Oh, okay.
It's worth keeping in mind. So, nothing. Everything else is happy here, like the Four of Rods. That's again happiness. There's the Ace of Swords. A new way of thinking is your mind is. You've already said that though, that you're making changes. That's the Ace of Swords. There's the Sun, which is healing and health and growth. No, I see no speed bumps in your immediate future here. It's looking good.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. No, just wondering if there was any other guides or anyone close to me sending any message or anything that that they can share with me.
Okay. Let's see what we've got. Once again, I'm getting major cards. Every time somebody asks me this, I just get major cards to them, so that's good. The World, which is a card that's assured success, so it's saying don't stress yourself, you're going to succeed. Temperance again, there's going to be balance. And the High Priestess, which is an excellent card. That means you have spiritual powers that, you can transcend this world and the next, which it's a very good card. You had the Magician before, so you see, this is the High Priestess.
It reminds me of my brother. Yeah.
Well,
there's something that he taught me.
Everything's going to be okay. You're on a good path and things are working well. So it's disgustingly positive. It's all filled with positive stuff. And there is here's the Hermit. That's about a guide. You asked about a spiritual guide. That's what this card is. It's about a guide. So that's like saying, and by the way, I'm the guide. What the cards are saying here. So yeah, I think you hit the right person here through me and the cards, but they're your cards. But yes, this is getting the Hermit card at the end, which shows a person holding a light to show you the way. So yeah, this is good. That is a message from a guide. It's all major cards, which is the way it goes when I do readings like that. And you're going to be very successful. And part of it is accessing the mystical side that you have. Do you use that side a lot?
I don't. I know about it, and I know that I could use it, and if I get a little stronger and learn more about it, but I'm aware of it.
What would you like to learn? Maybe I can point you in the right direction.
Just kind of how to hone in on things. I have a lot of instincts, and some people would say, "Oh, gut feelings" and stuff like that. But I'm always aware of those things, and
okay.
That's what I try to follow. But
that's a very good sign. And I tell you, the thing is, there's a book that I talk about a lot, because it's one of my favorite books ever. It's written in the 1930s. And the people who republished it wanted me to do the introduction, and I read the book and I said, you don't need me to write a word here. This thing is perfect. It's called Hunches. And that's what it's about. It's about the fact that so many people are intuitive and they have feelings and that things work out, but they don't know what to do with that or how to do it. And if you can find the book at mojoacademy.org or amazon.com if you want to go directly there. Mojoacademy.org will tell you how to get it for a little bit less. Amazon, it's charged a little bit more. But it's by Lloyd Kenyon Jones, who was a prolific writer of the 20s and 30s. And it's the best book I ever read on psychic abilities, which ones there are, how to recognize them, and how to develop them. This is just something to keep in mind. Great. It's not, and I'm always hesitant to do this because I don't like to do a sales pitch, but it is definitely, I'm almost evangelical about this book because it's marvelous. It's called Hunches, and this is what you described, that the intuitiveness, the feelings. I mean, I've had the same thing happen to me over the years. I remember my wife was casting a film, and she found a guy who was just the right person to play the part. And when it was over, I said, he's not going to come back. You better prepare. I said, no, he's going to do it. He isn't going to do the part. I could just feel it. And so she got a backup ready, and he didn't show up. So, sometimes we there's a thing, and it happens, and we get these vibes.
Right.
And the question is,
Exactly.
how do you control that? Because you don't want that on all the time either. You want to be able to turn that
Mhm.
off. It's like, could
Right.
you
Or not
imagine?
just control it, but kind of like believe in yourself to understand those feelings.
Yes,
Kind of say, okay,
to listen
to
to
not
that
be
voice.
doubtful of yourself. Right.
Yeah, just because the world is so full of coincidences that it's unbelievable.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's the world is smaller than we think, and
Mhm.
I strongly, and for the people listening, if you think that if this resonates with you, if what you're listening to now, if you've had these kind of feelings, and a lot of people do, and especially people who listen to this show because you're interested in this kind of stuff, uh, check out the book Hunches. That's the all I can say is that it's a wonderful, wonderful book that will help you develop these powers. It's got a dream book inside of it too. Those things fell out of favor years ago, but it tells what various dreams mean. So, but mostly it's
Yeah.
about
That's pretty much
clairvoyance, clairaudience, hunches, that kind of thing.
okay.
So check it
All
out.
right.
I
Sounds
think you'll
good.
benefit from it. But you're doing
Definitely.
well. You're on a good path.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good
Bye
evening.
bye now. And let's shuffle the cards. And you're listening again, Reverend Eliot's Magical Window on the Ask One Radio Network. We've been doing this for over 10 years now. That's amazing. I've got a backlog of hundreds and hundreds of shows. And I stopped numbering them here in my files. I'm going to have to do that. I have to spend an afternoon and do that. I became very lazy and very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Lazy. That's the word I'm looking for. Lazy. I've become contemplative. No, I've become lazy. I like to joke that in an earlier marriage, one of the big complaints that my spouse had was that I procrastinate. And I got very angry when I looked that word up 2 weeks later. One more time. Anyway, Patsy in New Orleans is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi,
Hi, Patsy. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How is New Orleans?
Hot.
I've never gotten down to New Orleans. I always wanted to. I have in my collection, I have a signed album by Sweet Emma, which I know
Oh, wow.
she signed lots of them, but I managed to hang on to one, and I've got it. And I listen to it once in a while when I dust off the vinyl. But yeah, it makes me
Oh,
want to go
wow.
there. I'd
Yeah,
love.
I'm actually in Lacombe, Louisiana, which is only 30 minutes from New Orleans.
Oh boy, what I wouldn't give, huh? Well, I guess because I live in a tourist neighborhood, so I know what
Uh-huh.
it's like. So I don't know how the tourists are in New Orleans, but I know what they're like here,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
not too
yeah.
thrilled with them, and I don't want to be one.
No.
To me, the
No.
tourists are the people who stand five abreast on the streets in the sidewalk of New York and block everybody while they look up at the buildings. But why? At
Yeah.
least they come here and they enjoy New York, and I live in what's essentially the theater district.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Wow. I always wanted to go to New York.
Well, catch it before it's gone.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
changing,
wow.
and
Oh,
I wouldn't
really?
not. It's getting mallized. It's getting to be like a mall. But
Yeah.
we do have the Broadway Theater is still hanging on in there, even though it costs a fortune to go see.
Mhm.
But we still have
Right.
lots of little attractions. The old New York is here. I mean, complaining about New York changing is a very New York thing to do. I mean, I've seen books from the 1950s, the early 50s with Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg whining about how Greenwich Village is dead. So
Oh, wow.
it keeps going. But we managed to stay here. So what can we look at for you
Oh.
tonight? What can the cards show you?
Well, I don't. I had two questions. My mother, she passed away when I was 20,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 60 now. I'll be 60 tomorrow. But anyway, I never get a sign. I mean, I don't ever feel her, and so I was just wondering if she's around, if she shows me anything or has any message for me. And then I also have a son that has autism.
Well,
And, I'm getting up in age, and I'm just wondering if he's going to be okay after I pass on.
Let's see if there's a message from your mom. How's that?
Okay.
Because there's very definite signs I look for in a reading of afterlife reading to see if we're getting anything. And that involves one of several cards, like the death card or the high priestess card or judgment. So let's just see. So far I haven't gotten anything.
No.
No, I'm not getting anything at all. Let's take a look at your son, and then we'll go back to that, okay?
Okay.
Maybe that's a higher priority for you right now. This is what's blocking it. Okay. I'm seeing that there's provisions that you're making, that there will be. I'm getting cards of money. It's a sad situation, first of all. That's the Three of Swords, which is, that a heart pierced with swords. Then I have the Six of Coins and the Four of Coins, and these indicate money. And then that's followed by the Sun, which is health and healing and happiness and growth. The World, which is a card of success, assured success. So that's telling me that, that he'll be taken care of. That there seems to be a fund, and there seems to be methods that'll come up that will help. Let's just see if we can get anything. And listen, let me tell you, this is not normal for me, because I never have not had this work with an afterlife reading. But you did start by saying that you never hear anything and you never feel it, so let's see if we can do something. If I don't get anything now, you can contact me off the air. Okay. My email is asktaro@earthlink.net. You can find me through askoneradio.com. There's all kinds of ways to get me. And no charge, I'll try it again. How's that? Okay. Because we might want to just discuss a few things in a more positive way and see if we can do it. Okay. But no, see, I'm not getting any of the cards that I usually get that indicate a past life reading at all. Okay. So if you can try another time with me here, if you can get through, or just drop me an email, and we'll arrange to do something that way. Okay. And no charge. Okay. I mean, this is not like sneaking a job out of you. This is we could do it by phone. The email is asktaro. ASKTAROT, one word, at earthlink.net. That's a nice old email.
Oh, okay. Okay, I appreciate that.
And we'll either do it by email or we'll do it over the phone, and I'll call, it won't cost you anything. And because this has never failed, but I have a feeling that you were not expecting anything, and that expectation is what's getting in the way. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll take care of it if you want to. All right.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I hope to hear from you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Thank you. Bye now. And we'll shuffle up the cards. Jennifer in Minnesota is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi. How are you?
I'm well. How are you tonight, Jennifer?
I'm okay.
Well, maybe we can make that better. What can I look at for you?
I'm just kind of looking into, I'm having relationship problems.
Mm-hmm. And
where that's headed or what direction I should take.
Okay, let's see. 99 times out of 100, people ask me that they know what they want to do. You know what I mean? Let's see what I'm getting. Is this a new relationship?
No.
Okay, because
no.
I got a card here, which is the Page of Cups, which is about a new relationship. And that could either mean a new relationship or the relationship you're in reaching a new level. Unfortunately, the next card is a card of unhappiness, great sorrow, the Three of Swords, which, it doesn't get more sorrowful than that. It shows a heart pierced by swords and it's crying. So there's a very serious situation here, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, the Knight of Cups is about usually it means a new relationship too. That's like the Page of Cups. That's why I'm confused here about this. Here's another one, which is the Two of Cups. And then notice you ask about relationship and you're getting cards that are cups, and that's good. That means that the cards are listening to you. But they're pointing the way to something new coming into your life. The Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Two of Cups is about a new romance. Here's the Queen of Cups, that it's something that you'll take in. And here's the Ten of Cups, which shows happiness. I mean, this is very odd, I mean, I think what you're thinking about is leaving, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, this is just showing that there's a lot of good stuff romantically in your future. But this is not the kind of decision that you want cards to make for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's a heavy thing here. But here's the Nine of Cups. That's about a very sensual relationship. But it's cups again. It's cups. It's cups. Every time I get a card here for you, it's cups. It's telling me that they're the page and the knight. They're telling me that there's something new coming your way.
Okay.
So I can't, barely knowing you or the situation, I certainly can't advise you, but you keep an eye out, because here's the Nine of Swords. It's a very sorrowful situation right now, right? You're not happy.
Right.
That's like the Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords are truly unhappy. But yet other cards indicating the future are happy, and they all center around romance. Like the Nine of Cups I was telling you about, or the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups and the Page of Cups. These are all. I'm just seeing happiness romantically in your future. How you get there is not something that I can advise you on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So.
I do.
But like I said, most people know what they want when they ask a question like that.
Right.
Like, say, if the question was, if I stay with this person, what will my life be like? If I leave, what will my life be like? But I think these cards are answering that there's good stuff in the future, and everything relating to now is sorrow. Here's another one. There's a Five of Coins. That's about money problems and sadness and woe, followed by the Ace of Cups, which is about romance. See, now you're not being treated well in this relationship, are you?
Not the best, not the worst.
Because look at the Five of Swords here is, it's not very good. And the Six of Swords is here, which is a card about somebody going from where they are to where they want to be. Okay. So you're going to make, let me put it this way, as bland as this sounds, you are going to make changes in your life that are going to bring you the happiness that you want. What those changes are is up to you. Correct? Okay. So, correct. Don't let anybody tell you in an encounter like this what to do. I'm just seeing that whatever it is you do, you're going to make the choice that leads to happiness. Okay. So you consider what you need carefully, and here, look, the Sun is here. That's a card about health and growth and joy and happiness. It's good. I see suffering and pain, but not in your future. Okay, you're going to take care of that.
Perfect. That will be perfect.
Is there anything else you want to look at?
Just, is there anyone you can see in the cards watching over me?
Okay. Shuffle them up. And Well, this is fascinating. I'm not going to particularly go by the meaning of these cards as much as I'm going to go by the pictures on the cards. The cards are the Lovers and Temperance. Now, in the Lovers card, it shows two people with an angel over them watching them. And the Temperance card shows an angel. So I think the answer to your question is yes. The image that the cards wanted me to see, to tell you about, is an angel watching over people. So there you go, right? So yes, I do see somebody. So that's good. That's nice. And it can be a little creepy to think that there's somebody watching over you, but it can be comforting. It can also be comforting too, you know. So
yeah.
But I think that you asked the question because you could feel it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're a very intuitive person, and these two cards, to get two cards with an angel on them and one specific, here's another one. This is the Star, which is about hope and optimism, and it shows a bird. There's a woman in the water, balancing the water, and there is a bird in a tree watching over her. See, that's the spirit. So that's two cards you got that have spirits watching over somebody. So that's the message is, yeah, you do have somebody watching over you. Okay?
Yeah. Sounds great.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for calling. And yeah. I will light a candle, and we'll send positive energy your way. How's that?
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye now.
All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And folks, that's it. We've come to the end of another edition of Reverend Eliot's Magickal Whatnot, where we get together and we look through the tarot cards. And oh boy, I've got a lot of stuff to tell you about, but I've only got a couple of minutes left. There's a new book up at Amazon, not by me. It's a reissue of a book by Upton Sinclair with a foreword by Albert Einstein. Yes, that guy, Albert Einstein. You know, there's a very funny story about Albert Einstein. It's funny if it's true, but there was a guy in America called Petrillo, who was the head of the musicians union. And one of the things Petrillo did was he called a strike. He called a recording strike. And for a period in the late 40s, nobody made records unless they were like a self-contained group. So you'll get recordings by the Mills Brothers because they were just 3, sometimes 4 guys with a guitar. And you got choir recordings, but he called a musician strike. And I used to wonder, there were jokes in the Warner Brothers cartoons where Bugs Bunny would say, I sure hope Petrillo doesn't find out about this. Well, there was a benefit for the musicians union, and Petrillo played the trumpet. And Oscar Levant was playing the piano. And in this trio, Albert Einstein played the violin. And they couldn't get their timing right. And in exasperation, Petrillo turned to Einstein and said, geez, Einstein, can't you count? Well, to me, that's funny anyway. You know. But you see, even Einstein is not an Einstein all the time. But he wrote the foreword to this book. And it's called Mental Radio. And these are tests that Upton Sinclair did, definitive tests that he did with his wife to show that telepathy is real. This is what we talked about, like with hunches, for instance. It shows about that. But you see, it was a highly attacked book, but his methods stood up. People thought it was wrong that it was his wife who took part in the experiments with him, but that's kind of silly. It's because somebody had to do it, and it's just a fascinating book that helps prove the existence of mental telepathy. And we all know that. I mean, years ago, somebody gave me great advice. He said, always act as if people can read your mind, because they can. And boy, I tell you, because we give out more cues than we think. People can tell what we're thinking, you can tell when somebody's lying to you a lot of the times. You know that. So it's definitely a book worth looking at. I mentioned again, I'll repeat that 2 books that I mentioned. These are wonderful books that will help, that will improve your life. It's Unmasking Fear and Hunches. You can find those at mojoacademy.org, mojoacademy.org. There's new books coming. By that I mean old books that have been forgotten. I've got a book from the 1890s that before I got ill I started to restore, and I am continuing that right now. And soon it will be available. And it's a book on the wonders and glories of solitude. That scares a lot of people, solitude, but I like it, and this is a book explaining a lot about it. And in today's electronic world where we're overloaded with images and sounds, that's good. So until next week, we've run out of time. Remember, time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye-bye now.